All right, welcome back, Tulsi Krats, Bernie Krats, free radicals of all shapes, sizes, colors, denominations, orientations. Aloha from the scorched state of Florida, while the rest of the country is chilling out, especially up near Chicago today. We are breaking temperature records every day. It's weird that summer here doesn't end. It just keeps on keeping on. That's why I live in the fastest growing town in the entire country. And we may be seeing some climate change as well, which is, I guess, in a way, driving people south, which makes no sense. Eventually, they're going to want to go back north if things keep up. So Tulsi Gabbard, I Googled the headline, Tulsi Gabbard hits 5% in New Hampshire. According to the latest CNN poll, which of course isn't going to show any bias toward Tulsi Gabbard. In fact, just to get these people to conduct a poll, they won't pay to do polls, especially when it has to do with an upcoming debate. Tulsi Gabbard now beating Cory Booker and Kamala Harris in this latest poll. That is very big news if you are a Tulsi supporter. If you're a political observer, you have to be thinking to yourself, this is quite a new development. It seems as though Hillary Clinton's grooming her stunt, meaning Russians are grooming her for a third-party run, just got people onto Google to find out more about Tulsi Gabbard. And typically, when you are impugning someone's base of support, when you're calling me a bot because I run a channel, I've got no, let me be clear, I have no dog in this hunt, okay? I have said on numerous occasions, I think we need a third way. I think we need to, invade the Green Party with good quality candidates rather than these fringy people that typically go over there and they almost don't want to win. I'm not saying there's a Senate candidate in Maine who I believe wants to win. I think her name is Lisa Savage. Check her out. But other than that, a lot of times when I'm checking out Green Party candidates, I'm like, these people are just too weird. And I just being honest. I'm thinking about truck drivers from the Midwest that are sitting there going, okay, why would I want to vote for this person? See, there has to be some kind of cultural similarities. And this is why Tulsi Gabbard, I think, has smartly not impugned former Trump supporters. She came out and said, look, nobody is a deplorable. We're all Americans. Brilliant. And by the way, very sincere and very honest. So anyway, I did a Google search, and these are the Google results. Finally, at least I get to the poll. And look what happens, again, this story from the New York Times. You don't think that algorithms aren't controlled? Look, Google, this is how I earn money. I wait for Google AdSense to put ads in front of my videos. I hope and pray each and every day that the videos don't get demonetized. The revenue on this channel from its peak, which was about 2 months ago, has dropped 50%. 50. Okay? The reason it's dropped 50% is because it took them a while to figure out that I was not friendly to their philosophy. Let's just put it that way. Because the channel too was growing in leaps and bounds, whereas my music channel continues to grow, even though there's not all that much to talk about over there. They'd rather have people go over there and they say, oh, Dave, why don't you just... They're basically sending me a message. Dave, stick to the music, okay? You can do good work with this music stuff, and people are interested in Eddie Van Halen's health and so forth. You just keep talking about that. You talk about this Tulsi Gabbard, this disruptor. People aren't really interested in that. And the fact that this heinous smear piece shows up, which is now what? It came out on October 12th. It is now 3 weeks old, but yet there it is, popping right up. Now, the poll from New Hampshire did pop up, But the headline obviously isn't, Tulsi Gabbard hits 5%. They talk about, surprisingly, Bill Maher's candidate too, Amy Klobuchar. All right, Tom Steyer, thankfully, the guy who I'm really concerned about, who can kind of buy his way into this, he's not catching on, at least for now, but there's still quite a bit of time left, and he is running a blitz of ads in Boston and Manchester and various places that are considered, where the market is most viewed and so forth, like the Boston market. Even though it's not New Hampshire, a lot of people from New Hampshire watch Boston TV. So he's buying a lot of ads there. I'm wondering where Amy Klobuchar is getting her bump from. Is it the Bill Maher crowd who see Biden as a problem? They obviously don't like Sanders. They don't like Warren. They think Warren is too progressive, which is crazy because it's all faux progressivism. It's neo-progressivism. It's not real. Klobuchar, I think, fits the Hillary Clinton template the best. And hence that's why Amy Klobuchar is doing well. But the fact that the rebel, Tulsi Gabbard, is at 5% is going to start to make these people sweat a little bit more. Because you see, going after her, and this narrative of, well, she's only at 1%, the New York Times writing a candidate that is barely at 1%. What is she up to? What is she doing? I mean, if she's, again, I'll say this over and over again, if she's not a threat, why do you keep talking about her? What is the rationale for talking about her? Here's an article. Tulsi Gabbard may lag in the polls, but she's winning now I'm believing she's winning the hearts and minds of people. And then you've got these people campaigning in New Hampshire. And poor Bernie Sanders. Emerson polling. No, he's winning. He's winning New Hampshire. See, look, Bernie is not my first choice, but man, it's amazing to see what they do to him. This headline, too, doesn't say Bernie Sanders winning New Hampshire. Doesn't say that. It says, well, let's click on the article. I don't know how this is going to work out here. Okay, so Sanders at 21, Warren at 18, Biden at 15. Buttigieg just amazes me how he's even in this race. He's got nothing. He has nothing to offer anybody. He's at 10%. Okay, so they do say the poll is good news for Sanders while it's mixed to bad news for Biden and Warren. There remains no clear runaway leader in the Granite State. I would argue, and by the way, no mention of Tulsi. Well, here Tulsi Gabbard, Amy Klobuchar, and Andrew Yang are all at 5%. That should be a headline because Tulsi, again, according to all these people, Tulsi Gabbard was at 1% in the polls. So Tulsi Gabbard has increased her support 5 times, 5-fold. And I'm just wondering, what does this mean for the media's coverage? Are they going to continue to pay attention to Tulsi Gabbard? Or is someone going to send a memo out saying, you know what, best thing to do is just ignore Tulsi Gabbard. Don't talk about her. Hillary Clinton made a strategic blunder, and I'm sure her advisors are pouncing on that because there are rumors that, especially if no clear frontrunner emerges, that, God help us, she's thinking about jumping into this race. I'm sure she's probably talking more to Amy Klobuchar. Now, I think she seems to be the focus of a lot of unnecessary attention, a blank slate candidate who stands for nothing, who will continue what the establishment wants, but she checks the box, first woman president. Nobody, by the way, does anybody ever talk about Tulsi Gabbard in terms of the first woman president? First woman of color, first Hindu? No, of course not. Of course not. Because again, identity politics only seems to apply when the candidate of choice is willing to do what the status quo wants them to do. Let that sink in, all right? identity politics is a ruse, all right? And it's meant to divide liberals and conservatives. It's the left and the right, because the right hate it. And the true progressive left, they don't like it. I mean, they tolerate it to some degree, but some, at least the good commentators on the progressive left, they think it's a waste of time because we're constantly talking about things that have nothing to do with policy. There are Bernie Sanders people, unfortunately, that seem to do both. They talk about policy, but then they talk about identity politics. People in the Tulsi camp, they don't care what gender you are, what skin color you are. They're more concerned about what might get done if we can get Tulsi Gabbard elected. So this is really good news if you're a Tulsi Gabbard supporter, because, again, here's a candidate, according to the New York Times, who's only polling at just 5%, or I'm sorry, 1%. What exactly is she up to? She's injecting chaos. Remember this? She's injecting chaos because she threatened to not go to a debate. How is that chaos? I mean, because she's not willing to stay in line? Just incredible how shallow these attacks are and how people are seeing right through it. And by the way, you Bernie people, I'm concerned for you guys too. Look, I'm not as big on Senator Sanders as I am on Tulsi Gabbard. I will say this once again, and Tulsi folks, don't get on me for this, but if Tulsi can't do this and Bernie is still there and he's fighting hard, and he's sounding like the Bernie who I think he could sound like, and his supporters will back off and leave me alone and just say, okay, we'll agree to disagree on these issues that you think are important, which I don't think are important. If Bernie follows through with his actual policies and campaigns on those policies, he's got my support. But right now, Tulsi Gabbard's got momentum. So I'm very much interested in this Tulsi Gabbard momentum right now, and I'm going to continue to push that momentum forward. Why would I do otherwise? She is the best candidate running, and we ought to throw our financial support behind her as well. I've donated, I think, 3 or 4 times to the campaign. Now would be a great time to donate to Tulsi's campaign, because if she's at 5%, she needs more infrastructure. She needs help on the ground up there. She needs help in Iowa. Iowa is a weird state. The Iowa caucuses don't make sense to me. They never have. Hence, you've got weird things always happening in Iowa. Does Iowa always predict who the president will be? No, not always. It's trickier, and same with New Hampshire. I think you got to get to Super Tuesday, and then once you get to Super Tuesday, you can see who is probably going to be the nominee. So, in any event, I want to thank everybody for watching this channel. Don't forget, demonetization on this platform happens frequently, and since I'm kind of belittling the Google algorithm during this particular episode, there's a high likelihood that they're not going to like this video. So if you can help me out via Patreon, we've had new patrons come on board. I share Patreon, or this channel shares the Patreon account with my music channel. Also, you can donate via PayPal, one-time donation. If you want to do it that way, $5, $10, $2, whatever it is you can. Look, people watching progressive media or independent media probably aren't the wealthiest people. So I get it. You know, if you know somebody with deep pockets that would like to help the channel out, I've got some tough competition out there. It helps. It just helps me knowing that I can do this and actually earn a very modest living doing it between this and my music channel. Like I say, they favor the music channel over the political channel, because if you're talking about mindless entertainment versus, you know, the future of the planet, they would rather have you talk about mindless entertainment. You know what I'm saying? It's really weird what our country and our world has become, where the entertainment class and culture are dominant. And I could do a video about the television programming in the United States and how every night you could turn on a show which glorifies war and gunfire and violence. And yeah, sometimes it's good guys getting bad guys, but it just glamorizes the whole idea, and how many younger people are watching this stuff going, that's what I want to be when I grow up. I want to be involved in that. I want to protect our country and save the world and so forth. And little do they know is that we are running around the world needlessly, being the world's police, as Tulsi Gabbard says. So that's a whole other video, and there's a chance I will do that video pretty soon. So again, thanks for watching and supporting Tulsi Gabbard. 5% people in New Hampshire. That's big news. I know 5 isn't double digits, okay? It's halfway there. But again, the media probably a little dumbfounded because remember, she's supposed to be just barely at 1% in most polls. Well, this ain't most polls. This is a qualifying poll, by the way, for the next Democratic debate. All right, thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.